So I was looking at Skillbridge programs and coding boot camps, and I found Code Platoon. It was one of the first ones I found, and really it was the only option. Looking at what they had for the curriculum, and how easy they made it to apply. Being Skillbridge, I had to get command approval, and they even offered a letter to my commander to kind of push that decision to a yes, so I could go. And so I applied and got accepted. I found a job as a software developer with a defense contractor just a few weeks after graduation, and I start soon. Code Platoon is much more than teaching tech. They turn us into marketable assets. When I say us, I mean veterans. I don't think I would have found a job as quickly as I did without the offerings they had outside of just teaching tech subjects. As a Skillbridge student, I was able to attend Code Platoon completely cost-free on my part. I am forever grateful that I was selected to attend as a Skillbridge student, and it was a key to me finding a seamless transition from service to getting a job.
Hello and welcome to Code Platoon's discussion on Skillbridge. I'm your host, Greg Drobny. Joining me today will be Dave Shantz, a subject matter expert on Skillbridge. Before we get to that, just a quick introduction of who Code Platoon is, what Code Platoon is, and just a quick bit of info about us before we launch into a discussion on Skillbridge. Code Platoon is a veteran and military community specific coding bootcamp designed to bring the skills of a full stack software engineer to the veteran community in a highly employable skill set. To answer the question of what skills can result in high employment for veterans, this was started by Rodrigo Levy 5 years ago. After a 20-year career in the world of finance, Rod started Code Platoon after putting himself through another coding boot camp with the intent of equipping veterans and military spouses with in-demand skills in order to ease that transition into civilian life. We're a full stack software engineering program, highly intense 14-week program is our full-time cohort model. Involves 10 to 12-hour days for those 14 weeks. It's intense. You're going to be immersed in the languages of JavaScript and Python for those 14 weeks, and in a very highly practical manner. It's not a lot of theory. You're not going to be wasting your time on things that don't matter. You're going to be spending your time on very hands-on skills. We offer also an evening and weekend cohort model, which meets 3 evenings a week and 1 weekend day for 28 weeks. So half the number of hours a week to double the number of weeks for those who just can't leave their full-time job. Our 14-week program is offered 3 times per year. 28-week evening and weekend program has been offered once a year. Next year we might be doing 2. Probably discuss that more in questions if you have them. But for the purposes of Skillbridge, really what we're looking at here is the 14-week fully immersive program. Coding languages of JavaScript and Python, best practices, GitHub, pair programming, certifications in AWS and safe agile frameworks. You're going to be getting a lot of hands-on, in-depth knowledge at Code Platoon that results in a highly employable skill set. But we also spend time on things like interview prep, team building, diversity and inclusion, personal finance, negotiations, a lot of things that go beyond tech to help. At the end of the day, we want to see veterans be employed in the workforce and not just have the ability to code, but rather how to transfer that into the workforce and have a meaningful career. Many different finance options. Again, today we're going to be talking about Skillbridge, so I won't go into too much detail on that right now, but we do have GI Bill, Vet Tech, VRAP, and Voc Rehab accessible programs. All of those can and have been used at Code Platoon. So that's kind of just a brief introduction to Code Platoon. Again, we'll be going into more detail on some of this as we discuss. But that's what Code Platoon is. We're a full stack software engineering boot camp that focuses on the military and veteran community. So we're going to transition this right into a discussion on Skillbridge, which basically enables people to do this program while still in the military in their last 180 days. So I'm going to launch that part of the program now, and hope to see you in the comments section soon. Hello, everybody, and welcome to Code Platoon. This is Greg Drobny, the Student Outreach Coordinator. I'm here to discuss a little bit about Code Platoon, but more specifically about Skillbridge and how we work with Skillbridge. Joining me today is Dave Shantz. I hope I got that name pronounced correctly. And
yes, sir.
He's a subject matter expert, so he's going to give us everything we need to know about Skillbridge. Just a quick intro about Code Platoon. We are a nonprofit coding boot camp devoted to the military and veteran community. We're the only coding school out there that operates on that premise. Of course, other coding schools out there allow veterans in, but we're the only one that focuses entirely on the military and veteran community. So unless you're a member of the military transitioning out, or a veteran or a spouse, unfortunately, we can't help you out. But if you fall in those demographics, then Code Platoon may be the place to come. Again, we're a software development coding instruction organization. We take people out of the military and we give them a crash course in the basics of software development through the medium of code writing. Rod Levy, our executive director, started out spent 20 years in the world of finance, and he wanted to give something back to the veteran community, and he started Code Platoon with that intent. We accept all forms of payment from VA function like GI Bill if you're in the state of Illinois. Probably won't get into that in too much detail today, but please visit our website if you have questions about that. Vet Tech, which is a big option for a lot of veterans right now. And also vocational rehab is an option. It's not a super popular option because not a lot of people use it, but that is an option. We've had students go through that. But also Code Platoon specializes in fundraising for scholarships for those who do not have the opportunity to use VA or have already exhausted their VA funds. So we do a lot with scholarship funding and make those available to everyone. So today's focus, what we're going to be focusing on today is Skillbridge. And for those that are tuning into this, they probably already know a little bit about what Skillbridge is. But to get us going on what that is, I'm going to introduce Dave. And if you could tell us, first of all, what you do, who you work for, and why you do it, and maybe kind of work in an origin of how Skillbridge came to be a thing and what it is. So Dave, welcome, and thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me, Greg. I really appreciate this opportunity. I retired from the Navy last year at the end of February of 2020. Did a Skillbridge opportunity with the company that I'm with, GDIT. They hired me on, and they have since brought me into the role of leading the Skillbridge program for the entire company. So I'm very fortunate to be in this role. I love what I do. I first learned about Skillbridge like March or springtime of 2019. Did some research. Instructions are really easy to read and understand. Built my own Skillbridge program with my company. And I had such an amazing experience with GDIT. They were able to move me around to different locations within San Diego to basically do the same job with different teams of people. And at the end, my manager was like, okay, where do you want to be? And so I thought that was tremendously valuable. I had, just an amazing time with my Skillbridge opportunity. I just never stopped talking about it. And so, my role within Skillbridge now, I lead my company's Skillbridge program. And I also am the administrator for the DoD Skillbridge Community of Practice LinkedIn group, where all we really talk about is Skillbridge. So there are, hundreds or thousands of different programs and resources and companies, and everybody's out there to help service members and veterans, right? But Skillbridge is fairly new, and so I don't want that the Skillbridge name, right, to be diluted by anything else. And so all we really talk about is Skillbridge. Greg, very happy to have you in the group sharing your Code Platoon opportunities. And so we have service members being able to speak directly to folks like Greg and other company recruiters, and company recruiters able to speak directly with service members and offer their opportunities directly to them.
That's awesome. And we've gained a lot just by being a part of that group. So those who are out there, if you're on LinkedIn, look, what do they type into LinkedIn? Help me remember what they want to go to on LinkedIn to find the group.
Sure. It's called the DoD Skillbridge Community of Practice.
Community of practice. And for those who have not been on there, I can tell you that it's a valuable resource. I mean, there's people sharing ideas and programs on this page every day. So it's a great resource, like Dave was saying. So what, if you could, and maybe this is something you're super knowledgeable about and want to talk about, where did Skillbridge come from? I got out in 2009. I don't remember hearing anything about Skillbridge or anything like it. Like where did this come from? How long has it been around? Do you have any insight on that?
So actually recently I've been hearing some different answers to this. I guess I need to do a little history lesson and find out on my own. I thought it was started by the Army, but somebody's telling me that it was possibly started by the Marine Corps. Either way, it was not the DoD, right? The DoD, I think, saw something that one of the branches were doing. They really liked it and wanted to make it available to all the branches. And so, by the DoD getting involved in, vetting the companies on service members' behalf to ensure that all, companies are on the up and up. And, if a service member were to join that company, the DoD has kind of put their stamp of approval, like that company's going to take care of that service member. So I don't know who started it. I should probably know that. But the DoD released their first instruction in 2014, in August of 2014. The DoD is 1322.29. That DoD is still in existence now. They do have a new instruction, hopefully going to come out here shortly. So the current instruction is dated from August 2014.
Fantastic. And I can say just a little bit on that. I don't think it was the Army. And here's why I don't think that is because the Army right now actually doesn't call it Skillbridge. So, and that's a point for everybody. Like, I'm hearing from a lot of Army personnel that they call it something different. It's part of their transition assistance program or
it's called CSP, Career Skills Program.
Career Skills.
Yep. So the Army's Career Skills Program is essentially the same thing as the DoD Skillbridge program. Yeah, so they do call it something different. The Air Force also has adopted CSP.
Okay.
But yada yada yada, it's all the same thing. And oddly enough, the DoD, right, 1322.29, if you look in that instruction, you will not find the word Skillbridge in it anywhere, oddly enough.
Of course not.
So the Skillbridge program is not called the Skillbridge program by instruction. So something else that should be changing with the new DoD that comes out shortly.
Well, Skillbridge would only make sense if it were an acronym that stood for a whole bunch of other things. So, I mean, let's be honest. So if you could give us just a brief outline, how does it work? I mean, I'm a service member. I'm in the military right now. How does it work? What do I do at this point when I say, hey, this sounds like a cool idea? What do I do?
So this is primarily a transitioning program, which basically means that other folks are entitled to this program as well, right? So it allows transitioning military, veterans, spouses, Coast Guard, National Guard, and reservists the ability to take part in an unpaid internship or apprenticeship with the company of their choosing for up to 180 days and with the high likelihood of being employed. Now, this is primarily a transitioning program, which means if a transitioning service member and a veteran go to the same company for the same position, it's supposed to go to the transitioning service member. But I haven't really seen that bottleneck. You know what I'm saying? There's so many companies approved. There's so many opportunities. Opportunities are being created and being filled every day from all the companies. So I haven't really seen that bottleneck, but that's the way it should go. Now for a service member, the best thing for them to do, the first thing that they should do is to lean into themselves. What do you want to do and where do you want to live, right? That's obviously, it's okay. I'm here to do Skillbridge. Well, that's amazing. What do you want to do? I don't know. So kind of back to square one, right? So figure out what it is you want to do, where you want to live. That's a really good starting point. You're taking programs that are some are nationwide and some are just, in a local area. And so if you want to be in one section of the country and that company is not there, well, that automatically eliminates that option for you, right? So I think right now we have 800 and like 66 or 886 or something like that approved companies.
Wow.
And so that's a lot of opportunity. Do you want to sift through 800 plus companies to find the right opportunity? Best thing for you to do, figure out what it is you want to do, where you want to live, and just kind of narrow that field, right? To make it easier for you to search. Once you do that, the DoD has really given a lot of autonomy to each individual branch to run their Skillbridge program how they see fit. So the Army and the Air Force actually have their own vetting process. So their counselors are extremely involved. The Army and the Air Force, soldiers and airmen would need to work with their local either education office or SFL TAP office. Marine Corps also have counselors on installations that are Skillbridge POCs, points of contact. The Navy, to a lesser extent, there are some transition counselors that have some knowledge about Skillbridge. So really working with your local entity would be next. For the Army and Air Force, it is a requirement. For the Navy, it is not. So you have the DoD instruction, and then each individual branch has their own instruction on how they run the Skillbridge program themselves. And you can find all of those instructions on the resource page of the DoD Skillbridge site.
Well, that's fantastic. So you mentioned a minute ago, and this is something I was not aware of. You said that spouses are now. How does that work for a spouse?
So the framework for the Skillbridge program is the same. It's all kind of cookie cutter, for lack of a better term. So the opportunities or how the program is navigated or done is not different depending on if you're a service member or a spouse. Obviously, a spouse doesn't have a commanding officer to request permission to go do, but all opportunities across Skillbridge are unpaid. But they're also all supposed to have a high likelihood of resulting in a paid opportunity. So there are, opportunities for spouses to do Skillbridge opportunities. They would be unpaid, but the same criteria, is there.
Okay. Now, and Code Platoon, as I mentioned at the beginning, we've already opened up to spouses, so that doesn't really change things for us, but it's just good to put out there, make people aware. I think that's a possibility.
Absolutely. And the military spouse community, there's some of the most educated, some of the most highly educated folks that we have in this country, and some of the most underutilized people. And so I'm really starting to see a turn, especially on LinkedIn, where companies realize that nobody's staying with them, or at least in the same position, for 10 years. So the whole thought of, I don't want to hire a military spouse because you're only going to leave in 2 to 3 years, that kind of mentality is really starting to go away. And companies are really starting to lean into who the military spouse is and what they bring to the table. So I'm really happy to see that.
Which is fantastic. And here again, this is where Code Platoon has a little bit of an advantage, because the world of software development, you can do it anywhere. I mean, you really can. And the opportunities since COVID for working at home have done nothing but increase. It's not something that we guarantee people by any means, but the opportunities have increased vastly. I mean, we're working from home, all the more so in the tech sector, So can you speak a little bit, as I understand it, so an individual wants to go to Skillbridge, go through a Skillbridge program, they have to start either at their education center or with their chain of command, or both. Can you add some thoughts on how that works?
Mm-hmm. So I think each branch needs to start with the service member submitting a paper request to their commanding officer to get approval to take part in Skillbridge. For the Navy, by direction, that's it. Once the commanding officer says, yes, you can do it, and the service member completes the ethics training that's on e-learning, good to go. Okay. For the Army and the Air Force, there's a package that goes along with it. So the service member gets permission from the commanding officer to look into Skillbridge. Then they go work with their education office or SFL TAP office. They put the package together. The transition counselors verify that the company is approved and has the service member's best interest at heart. And they put that package together, and then they reroute it back to the commanding officer for final approval. Did I answer your question?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's just a basic outline of, how the process gets going for the soldier, airman, Marine, whoever,
Mm-hmm.
Where do they start it? Because when they come to Code Platoon, what they ask me often is, okay, do I need to start with my chain of command or do I need to start with Code Platoon? For me, the answer is yes, both. You need to do both because we have a bit of a longer application process due to, a few other factors, but that commander's approval needs to happen at some point because they are going to still be on DoD payroll while going through this program, right?
Yes. So I believe it's easier for the service member to apply with their chain of command first, because I've seen some recruiters in the space. That's one of the first questions that they ask. Have you already been approved to do Skillbridge? And if the service member says no, there are some companies that are just too large. They've got a lot on their plate. They kind of stop the conversation at that moment and they say, well, when you get commander's approval, let me know, right? So I think it's always easiest to operate right with that yes in your back pocket, so that way you can speak freely to recruiters and know that you're able to feel different opportunities, and pick the best one that's right for you and your family. Sure. So you can go the other way. You can absolutely start connecting with recruiters and looking into programs first. There is something in the Navy that we call intrusive leadership, where I have seen some commanding officers say, I'll approve it, but I want to know more information. And so the service member then needs to, line up that opportunity first with the company, find everything out. What's the opportunity? Where's it going to be? What does the job description look like? And then present that to the commanding officer. So that way the commanding officer really feels, they have that warm and fuzzy of, I'm going to let the service member go because it's in their best interest. They have a, good opportunity that they're going to pursue that should lead to full-time employment, doing what they want to do, making some good money.
Fantastic. And now tying into that, what are some of the obstacles you've seen that have prevented people from being able to use this as an opportunity?
Sure. Man, one of the biggest ones that really bothers me a lot is the education of Skillbridge. And so this program has been around, 2017 or 2014, what are we in, like 7 years now, right? 8 years or something like that. And there's still a lot of service members who have never heard of Skillbridge. And that's really sad. Right. I get emails, text messages, DMs on LinkedIn every day from service members that are like, hey, I've got 20 days left. Is there an opportunity, or how does this work? Or, right. Service members, they heard about it. They heard about Skillbridge. They know a little bit about it. And then they DM me and they're like, all right, today's my 180-day mark. What do you got for me? And I'm like, no, you needed to network. Like, there was a whole process beforehand. So, right. There's no complete consolidated list of opportunities, right? The DoD just doesn't have that ability right now. If anybody's ever heard of 50 Strong, Candy Tillman, she is a strategic partner with the DoD, specifically Skillbridge, and she is looking to build the largest, most consolidated current list of Skillbridge opportunities on their site. And so a service member can go to 50 Strong's website and see she has an embedded Excel document on her webpage of all of the DoD approved companies and what they're offering, right? Excuse me. It's not all the DoD approved companies. It's just the ones that are approved that have chosen to showcase their opportunity on her website. But she's doing great work trying to get the word out, because the DoD doesn't really have the ability right now to put up and take down on a daily basis all of the opportunities. So sure. Definitely follow Candy Tillman and look out on 50 Strong's website.
Okay, good. And we run into the same thing. We have people contact us and they want to take part in it, and they're in their, they're a month out from their ETS date, and that's not feasible with our program. You just can't do that. So, for those that are watching this and tuning in later, hopefully send this up, your chain of command, whatever, share this video with whoever to get that word out about Skillbridge, because exactly like Dave said, there's just so few people who know that it exists as a potential, as a possibility. And that's where people, I think, really miss out on that. So
I'm sorry, if I can add one more thing. Yeah. Another issue that we have is obviously going to be mission, right? We are service members first. Mission will always come first. So when mission takes precedence, we see a lot of service members not be able to take part in Skillbridge because of a deployment, or because they are the single point of, they're the bottleneck. If they leave, then everything falls apart within their department or job. So the Army actually, if a soldier gets approved early enough, the commanding officer can go to Big Army and say, hey, I'm letting this service member go do a Skillbridge opportunity, and Big Army will backfill that position with a body, so that way that unit is not down any personnel or manning, right? So I think that's huge. I'd love to see the other branches jump on board. I don't know where the Army has this pool of people, but thank you for having them, because I'm sure that does allow many more soldiers to take part in Skillbridge that may not have otherwise been able to.
That's fantastic, and that's something I didn't know. So that's great to know. Kind of coming in next on this same subject, a lot of people are going to hear this and they think, well, this sounds really good, but who pays? So who funds this?
That's a great question. So for companies, it's free to file, it's free to get approved, and it's free to run. So from a company side, it can be completely free. Now, when you get into the apprenticeships, right? Apprenticeships are a big business. A lot of companies make a lot of money on the apprenticeships, the regionally or nationally accredited Department of Labor certified apprenticeships. So some companies will get approved; they'll get special approval to charge a service member's GI Bill fund for some apprenticeships. Right? Case in point, we're in the first week of May. So what was it? 3 months ago. So Microsoft, their MSSA Academy, right there, Microsoft Software and Systems Academy. They used to charge service members 4 months of GI Bill funding for 4 months of apprenticeship work. And starting February 1st of 2021, Microsoft took their program and stopped charging service members. I don't know why. Thank you. I'm sure service members are very happy about that.
Right.
But you said Code Platoon is approved to charge funding, right? And there's nothing wrong with that, right?
No, actually, we don't charge the service member does not pay anything when they come through on a Skillbridge scholarship. They're not paying a dime.
Right. I'm sorry. Did you say that you were charging GI Bill funding?
No, we would not charge GI Bill funding in the sense of a Skillbridge scholarship. We would give them a Skillbridge scholarship, and that would take care of the funding.
Awesome. Very cool. So from a service member standpoint, there should be no money out of pocket that they spend. So it's free for them to participate. There are some companies who do charge GI Bill funding for it, but as far as money out of pocket, it should cost the service member nothing. So it's really a win-win, right? The company gets to bring on the world's best talent, right? That we have to offer, and kind of give them a test drive. And the service member gets to see, is this the kind of work that I want to do? Or is this the kind of company that I want to be a part of? And really, there's no contractual agreement, right? The company doesn't have to offer a service member a job, and the service member doesn't have to accept that job. So it's pretty much a win-win.
That's great. And I just like to get that. Of course, we know the answers to these, but it's good to put that out there, because a lot of people hear this and think, well, when am I going to pay for GI Bill? Is it going to cost me, this, that, and the other? So it's good to help people understand. Now, there are some, and I don't know if you know anything about this, there is some talk about vet tech being applied to people going through Skillbridge programs, but the wording on all of this is really tricky and difficult to understand. I don't know that anybody has exactly the answer as to how vet tech is going to factor into all of this. Do you have any insight on that?
I don't. I saw a post from Kristen Scott. She works with 50 Strong, Candy Tillman. And she had found out that vet tech was also approved for service members within their last 180 days. I haven't looked into the instruction. I don't know a whole lot about it, but everything that I've heard, that the changes that are going through the program are all positive. So okay. I'm just not knowledgeable enough to speak about it.
When this goes live, and by the time people are watching this, we'll be having our VA vet tech guru there to answer questions via Facebook Messenger or whatever is going on. So we'll have the ability to answer that even more thoroughly once this goes live. Very cool. What are the advantages and disadvantages of going through a Skillbridge program or waiting until after? So you get to that 180 days and you say, all right, should I do this now, or should I wait till I get out and do it? Are there any disadvantages to doing it while in, or what are your thoughts?
I can't think of a single disadvantage of doing a Skillbridge opportunity while you're active duty. I really can't. because there's a high likelihood of being offered a job. So that's setting yourself up for success before you cross that blue line for the last time. That's I don't know. For me, that's the biggest thing, right? Setting yourself up for success is so I can't really find any disadvantages of taking part in a Skillbridge program. The advantages are endless, right? The advantages, the warm and fuzzy, the security blanket that you have inside of, when you leave the military, you've already got your leg in the door with the company, doing what you want to do, where you want to live, making the kind of money that you want to make. I mean, that's priceless, so yeah, I mean, the advantages I feel supremely outweigh the disadvantages. I can't think of a single disadvantage.
Oh, absolutely. And those who come to Code Platoon, for those who are under the auspices of Skillbridge, I mean, you're coming to a program and you're doing a really intense program. So it's really helpful for those doing Skillbridge to know that, you got that paycheck and those benefits you're still in the military. I mean, you still have a place, you're still taken care of while you're doing this really intense program. So all of that is taken care of. Like you said, there's really no downside to that. How do you have any broad scope metrics on how successful Skillbridge has been, or is this just something that personal interaction, it's working, or do you have any big picture, we have definitive numbers on how this is proven effective?
Sure. So for 2019, the Skillbridge program saw 8,300 participants. In 2020, even during COVID, the Skillbridge program saw 14,600 participants. So even during a worldwide pandemic, we were still able to see significant increases. And hopefully with COVID dying down and everybody staying happy, healthy, and safe, and work hopefully getting back to what it used to be. Hopefully we get close to 30,000 for 2021. I'm real excited to see that number get close to 30,000.
That's impressive. And that's great to hear. I mean, because like you said, it's a fantastic opportunity, and we've seen so much success with it. It's such a great opportunity. It's one of those that I look back and say, wow, I wish that had happened when I was in, but I'm glad that it's here. It's something that people can take part in. Really, one of my questions I was going to ask you is, share reasons why you think people should do it. But really, I think you've answered that, because there's no reasons not to do it. If you know about it and you have the time remaining, then it's something you need to take advantage of for sure. What do you have any kind of final thoughts on that, of how to make sure you can maximize this opportunity to its fullest?
Yeah, I would start early. Figure out what you want to do, where you want to live, kind of thing. And then what I suggest for all service members to do is go out and network with those people that do those jobs, right? So, an IT specialist from GDIT will not do the same job as an IT specialist from Lockheed Martin, right? Both job descriptions aren't going to read the same. And so learning what the intricacies are and what the job may look like before you step foot in the door is going to be, a huge benefit to you. Right? You don't need to just take the first offer that's on the table. Doing a little investigating, seeing how your values and morals and ethics fit with the company's culture, and making the right decision first is going to be widely beneficial for anybody taking part. So what I suggest is connect with as many companies as you can, with people who are doing the job. They're doing the job that you want to do. And then just talk to them, just ask them, tell me about a day in the life of, right? And let them describe to you their day. And so maybe one company needs to, jump through hoops, and like, it doesn't really sound very easy for them to do their job. And you may look at them sideways like, why do you have to do all that? Right. And then another person having the same title, right, with a different company may be, using AI and everything is automated. And it's almost like they could do their job in their sleep. And that excites you. It's like you're doing the job, and it doesn't really have to be such a, so difficult, so labor, intensive, and that may interest you. So learning about those opportunities beforehand is going to ensure that you cast a wide net and then narrow it down and choose the best opportunity that's right for you and your family.
That's awesome. Well, hey, Dave, thank you for being a part of us. What's the best way to get a hold of you? For those that want to know more, they want to hit you up one-on-one, what's the best way to get a hold of you?
Yeah, Dave Shantz on LinkedIn. Please, I'll accept any connection request from any military centric person, with or without a note attached to it. Email. I tend to be a little slower on email, so if you DM me on LinkedIn, you'll usually get a faster response.
Fantastic. And I'm Greg at codeplatoon.org. We'll put up a little graphic here for our emails, greg at codeplatoon.org for my email. And Dave, thanks once again, because to reiterate what I said at the beginning, Dave's a tremendous resource for LinkedIn. Find his LinkedIn page and start cruising around through there. Do a search on the page. You're going to find a whole lot of opportunities. And hit us up if you're interested in software development. Code Platoon is the place for you for all military veterans. But hey, Dave, it's been a pleasure as always speaking with you. And I look forward to doing it again sometime soon.
Same here, Greg. Thanks for having me.